What's a legal way to make easy money that actually worked for you? OSU in Oregon does paid taste tests from time to time. Every time I do one, I show up for about a half hour, I eat 3 different things, write down my opinions on them, and they give me $40. Last time was veggie burgers. You sit in a booth, they give you a half veggie burger, you eat it, write down your opinion. Do it again 2 times, and they hand you 2 $20 bills. You literally get paid to eat food. It's always been pretty decent as well. I mean, not restaurant quality but passable at least. House sitting. No, seriously, people will pay you to just sit in their house while they're on vacation even if they don't have any pets to take care of. Check this out. First of all, you and me start working at the bank. Doesn't matter the position, okay, just so long as we get in there, alright. Then we just go there every day, do the work, gain their trust until we get them in the palm of our hand. Alright. So how we get the money? That's the beauty of it, bro. They deposit the money into our bank accounts, week after week, month after month. They're not even gonna know they're being robbed. And then 20 or 30 years later, we walk out the front door like nothing even happened. Aside from a regular job, focus groups. They sound too good to be true but they aren't. Just made $350 last Thursday in a mock jury, paid the same day. I've been doing them for about 10 years. Sold coins in school. I am Danish, and our coins have little hearts and holes in them. They are quite cute, and that was what I emphasized on when I did the adverts on various sites. I sold mainly to Americans and as a coin collector starter kit. Put them in like a little box with individual holes, some fabric, and a cover. Piss cheap to make, and I would sell it for 10 times the value. Good beer money. In college I used to buy people's used book for like $10 more than the school store offered. I would then sell these to Amazon for gift cards. For a majority of college most of my non-food items came from Amazon, even built myself a $5,000 computer. I would buy each book for around 30 to 40 USD and sell them for around 100 to 150. Get a vinyl cutter. Wait until someone says something the internet goes crazy about and make a sticker about it. Sell for $10 a pop, easy way to make $500 to $1,000. Join the furry fandom and learn to build those animal costume heads. If you get good enough, one fursuit head can sell for $500 to $1,000. A full body costume can end up being worth $3,000 plus. Furries also tend to be willing to excitedly throw money at artists for anything with their characters in it, adult content or not. The tough part is finding a good time to sell, like in the month before a convention. Buy a giant popsicle, melt the popsicle, then freeze the slush into a bunch of tiny popsicles and sell them to people on a hot day. I once did a vaccine trial for the Ebola vaccine and made a decent chunk of change. I also tried selling plasma but that doesn't work for me and I passed out, so I don't recommend. I did meet one person who would just do training courses at call centers in America before quitting. There were a bunch of call centers in his area that would all hire you with basically no interview. They would even rehire you if you walked out as long as it had been 18 months. He had it schemed out where he would just train for a job at the call center, walk out, then work at a different call center. Never actually called anybody. Probably a pretty boring way to make not much money, but it's very easy. Best advice is apply for a new job that pays more around every 2 years. Buying junk, fixing it up, then reselling, or finding junk, fixing it up and selling it. I made an Excel spreadsheet in high school and told my friends that they each had a 2x3 plot. They said, "What? Okay." I replied, "Yeah. You can get neutral 1x1 plots for a quarter, or you can take a 1x1 plot from someone else by attacking them. It's $3 to attack someone, and if you have more plots than your target, then you'll take the difference from them. My friends looked at me like I had gone insane, then one of them said fuck it and slid me $1 for 4 plots. I made a scoreboard and put him at the top, then printed it out. The game very quickly escaped our group of friends and I had people asking to buy into the game or had people get eliminated, then buy back in, and I had to expand the rules and balance things out as people wanted to cooperate and confederate and all sorts of stuff. It was stupid, it was a joke. It also resulted in the correctional officer pulling me out of class one day because a teacher saw me taking fistfuls of cash from students left and right. Do you have any idea how hard it is to explain this concept to a 60-year-old high school principal in 2011? They thought I was dealing drugs, which does make more sense, honestly. But still. They watched me like hawks from then on. I have no idea how much money I made. It was legitimately a lot of work trying to keep up with the data, though. I had people playing until I graduated, then I passed the spreadsheet to my successor, some sophomore named Grant, don't remember his last name. Selling off my old stuff I'm not using on the internet. My buddy tried scuba diving and thought it was a really cool hobby. So he spent like 2-3K on equipment for his weekend hobby. He started selling his funds online. Fast forward 6-ish months and he quits his job because him scuba diving every other week and selling shark teeth he finds on eBay and to bulk buyer companies was making him more than his job as an EE. Last year he made over $100,000 doing this. Show your butthole on the internet. If you have a regular income coming in through direct deposit, you can churn bank account sign up bonuses for an easy couple grand per year. Doctor of Credit, https://www.drofcredit.com/best-bank-account-bonuses/amp, regularly updates their site help track available bank subs and the terms for each offer. Most of the big banks, Wells Fargo, Chase, etc., have standing offers for you to open new accounts and get X number of dollars in exchange for making a certain amount of electronic deposits in the account. It doesn't have to be direct deposit from a payroll processor, but that is the most straightforward way of doing it. After you meet the terms of the offer, the bank will deposit the money in your account. You can then close your account and move your money out to your preferred banking option. Just keep in mind some banks require you keep the account open for a minimum amount of time, usually 60 to 90 days, from the original opening date to keep the offer. Also keep in mind that this is considered taxable income, and the bank will send the IRS information about how much they paid you. This is not like credit card sign-up bonuses, which are considered rebates. Pay your taxes, people. Friend of mine buys bulk loads of costume jewelry on eBay, splits them up and sells them individually. Sometimes comes across really old gold/silver/diamond jewelry mixed in and sells them on her website. It's been great for her since she has a young kid and her partner committed suicide. As a result of his death she has agoraphobia, so it's a job she can do from home. A friend of mine knows some niche markets and goes to Goodwill and buys broken, or whole if luck is really with him, items in his niche. He's got enough parts to rebuild whole items and then sells them on eBay. He also figured out certain household appliances that have expensive replacement parts, and gets those at Goodwill, disassembles them, and sells the parts. He does this for 2 to 3 hours every weekend, and makes a couple $100 each weekend, after adjusting for buying stuff at Goodwill and then mailing it through the post office. It requires luck, perseverance, and knowing your market, but it's a good hobby that offers some cash. Be employed for regular type work for short periods of time. Cat sitting. Donate blood/plasma. Officiate youth/high school sports. I generally make at least $30/hour and it's good exercise. Well, it's not easy, but do dirty work that other people don't want to do. Folks with money will pay you a lot to not get their hands dirty. Pet sitting, can do my school work on my computer and hang out with the dogs and cats. Auctions, look for unique items that you have knowledge about that most people want. I managed to buy about a dozen industrial 15-ton crane hooks that were brand new from a reputable manufacturer. I paid $2,000 and spent an afternoon calling industrial suppliers that sold that particular brand. Doubled my money with an afternoon of phone calls. I bought an unusual but high-quality brand CNC machine from another auction for $7.5 thousand and sold it for $21,000. Tomorrow I am bidding on some electric bikes. Honestly, flipping items from thrift stores has been my go-to. I started by picking up vintage clothing and unique knickknacks, then reselling them online. One time, I found an old designer jacket for $10 and sold it for $200. It takes a bit of time and an eye for valuable stuff, but it's totally doable and can be pretty profitable. Buying tools on Father's Day sale and reselling them on Marketplace. Play Freebird equals they put real money in the tip jar. I work at a thrift store. My shift starts at opening time. When I pull in, there's a massive line at the entrance every single morning. For the longest time I had no idea why, but everyone I tell this to speculates that it's BC people buy things at the store, everything is ridiculously cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean I tagged a vase that was originally $150 for $8. I've also tagged some video games for insanely cheap prices, usually priced around $2, and sell them online for a much higher price. ETA, for those who are curious, I work at Deseret Industries, or DIV for short. Edit, I added further details. Flea markets, estate sales, Facebook Marketplace, and flipping. It's quite easy to make a bit of money if you know how expensive things in certain hobbies are. It does require some specialist knowledge though. The good thing is that it works in a lot of different areas. You can flip clothing, tools, jewelry, furniture, hobby supplies, collector's stuff, and so much more. You need money to make money though. And you can't be doing the thing everyone else is doing. What works and what does not really depends on your local place. But there is always money to be made somewhere. Collect interest on money you already have. My son works hard and is always making money on the side. He has made a lot of money hauling scrap metal for people. They get their yards cleaned and he keeps the money from the metal. We live in a more rural area. My brother used to grow pumpkins every year and sell them in the fall. I've gotten paid $1,000 a day to walk around in the background of commercials. I used to ERP for money on Second Life. You can do anything from AFK stripping to actual ERP. On slow days I made 15/H stripping, but I had someone offer 250/H for ERP, usual rate varies from 50-100/H. I don't know how it is now though. I haven't done that since like 2015. It's far from good money, but it's definitely easy. I do surveys and play games on my phone that pay for progress. Usually just when I'm watching something that I don't care to pay full attention to. It's not even close enough to live off of, but it's a nice little bonus when I'd be fucking around on my phone anyway. Companies will pay for your opinion, for you to test out their products, to sell them your plasma, or even to let them try new drugs on you. I've done all of these at least a few times over the last 30 years. They sure bridge the gap between jobs or pad the bank account when you're running low on cash. Obviously, there is more risk for opportunities with more reward available. I made $20,000 in 4 days teaching a hazmat class. Not me, but my best man has this thing where he will buy Lego packs, store them for a couple years until they are discontinued, and then resell them for anywhere between X5 to X30 the price. He makes a killing out of it, but it does require a small investment in buying the stuff and holding onto it for a time. He focuses on pop culture related packs that collectors will want. Transformers, Star Wars, etc. He sold a Star Wars Star Destroyer for like $1,000 just the other day. He does this with some good wines also, but from what he tells me this won't be profitable for at least a decade. Auctions. You have to know what valuable, but there are companies that auction returns from big box stores. My neighbor bought $350 air conditioners for $50 to $75 and sold them for $175 to $200 during the recent heat wave. You're taking a risk at the stuff you're buying not having all the parts or whatever, but they usually work just fine. Do some research at what things are selling for, and buy it cheap.